My husband vanished 8 years ago. Last night I found him in our basement. He says he never left. I had given up looking for him after the first 3 years. The police had no leads. No body was ever found. No ransom demands. No sightings anywhere. He simply walked out to get milk one Sunday morning and never came back. I wore black for 2 years. Went to therapy for 3. Eventually I started dating again. Met someone kind who understood I was still healing. We got engaged 6 months ago. I was finally moving on with my life. Then last night I heard noises coming from the basement. Scraping sounds. Like furniture being moved across concrete. My fiancé was away on business. I was alone in the house. I grabbed a kitchen knife and crept down the stairs expecting to find an intruder. Instead, I found my husband, sitting in the corner of the basement like he had always been there, wearing the same clothes he disappeared in 8 years ago, looking exactly the same age he was when he left. "There you are," he said casually. "I've been calling for you for hours. Did you not hear me?" I dropped the knife. My legs gave out and I sat down hard on the bottom step. This wasn't possible. This couldn't be real. He was dead. He had to be dead. Nobody disappears for 8 years and then shows up in their own basement looking like no time had passed at all. "Where have you been?" My voice came out as a whisper. He looked confused by the question. "What do you mean?" "I've been right here. I went downstairs to check the water heater and the door stuck. I've been trying to get your attention all day." All day. He thought it had been one day. I looked at his face searching for signs of aging or illness or anything that might explain what was happening. There was nothing. He looked exactly like the photos from 8 years ago. Same haircut, same watch on his wrist, same coffee stain on his shirt from breakfast that morning. I called the police. They came and took him to the hospital for evaluation. The doctors ran every test imaginable. Physically, he was completely healthy. Mentally, he seemed fine except for his absolute conviction that only one day had passed. He couldn't explain the gray in my hair, the wrinkles around my eyes, the engagement ring on my finger. He just kept insisting that he went downstairs this morning and got stuck. DNA confirmed he was really my husband. Fingerprints matched. Dental records matched. This was definitely the man who vanished 8 years ago. But where had he been? And why didn't he remember any of it? I spent hours in that basement looking for answers. The door didn't stick. There was no hidden room, no secret passage, nothing that could explain where he had been for almost a decade. But I did notice something strange. The water heater he claimed to be checking had been replaced 6 years ago. The new one was a completely different model. When I showed him the new water heater, he stared at it in confusion, touched it like he expected it to feel different. "That's not right," he kept saying. "That's not the one that was here this morning." The hospital kept him for 2 weeks of observation. I visited every day but kept my distance. This man was my husband, but he was also a stranger now. I had grieved him, buried him emotionally, built a new life without him, and now he was back expecting to pick up exactly where we left off. My fiancé was understanding but confused. How do you compete with a dead husband who isn't dead anymore? How do you build a future with someone whose past just walked out of the basement? We ended the engagement by mutual agreement, not because I was going back to my husband, but because everything had become too complicated to navigate. My husband came home after 3 weeks. We sleep in separate bedrooms now. We're essentially strangers sharing a house while we figure out what comes next. He's struggling to accept that 8 years have passed, that his parents both died while he was gone, that his company went bankrupt, that the world moved on without him. I'm struggling with something different. I'm struggling with the fact that I checked that basement hundreds of times over the years, every corner, every shadow, looking for any clue about where he might have gone. He wasn't there. I would have seen him. I would have heard him calling for help, which means either he's lying about where he's been, or something happened in that basement that neither of us can explain, something that took him away for 8 years and returned him without a single day of aging. The investigators have given up trying to find answers. They classified it as an unexplained disappearance and closed the case. My husband continues to insist he was only gone for a day. He started seeing a therapist who specializes in trauma and memory disorders. Sometimes late at night I stand at the top of the basement stairs and listen. I don't know what I'm expecting to hear. Maybe the sound of whatever took him. Maybe a whisper from whatever dimension or timeline he was trapped in. Or maybe I'm just waiting for it to happen again. Because if it happened once, it could happen twice. And next time it might be me who walks downstairs to check the water heater and doesn't come back for a decade. We don't go into the basement anymore. We hired someone to handle anything that needs attention down there. The door stays locked at all times. Because some mysteries aren't meant to be solved. Some answers are worse than questions. And some basements should stay closed forever.